So why exactly did KLF set £1 million on fire? It's been a burning question for 23 years, as pop's greatest provocateurs chose to let rumour, conjecture and myth around the publicity stunt, held on the Scottish island of Jura and ending their career on the 23rd of August 1994 swirl about unanswered for 2 decades. Until now, the return of the project formed by Bill Drummond and Jimmy Courtier in 1987, which has lain dormant in a self-imposed moratorium of 23 years, returned at 12:23 a.m. on the morning of Wednesday the 23rd of August. As Drummond and Courtier drove into a back street of Liverpool in an ice cream van to begin 3 days of events, their first new work, a trilogy of dystopian fiction, an end-of-days story, called 2023 A Trilogy, simultaneously dropped online. Yet this is not a book for those looking for straightforward answers, and is obtuse as KLF, who have published it under their other moniker, The Justified Ancients of Mew Mew. It is a multi-layered, self-referential meta-tale, starting with 2 undertakers, Courtier and Drummond, who discover a life-changing book called 2023 A Trilogy on a hotel bookshelf. It was written by George Orwell, the pseudonym for one Roberta Antonia Wilson, 33 years ago. What you are about to read is what they read, well, almost, reads the preface, adding that it has been translated from Ukrainian. Book of Shadows. 2023 by the Justified Ancients of Mew Mew. Photograph Faber Faber. It is a tale which switches between the diary of the author, Roberta, in April 1984, and her fictional novel set in 2023, in the tax haven of Fernando Po, which is the last nation-state on Earth on a small island off the coast of Africa. It was once part of Equatorial Guinea, before Equatorial Guinea did the lucrative deal with Wikitube, notes the book. It is littered with bastardized references to 2017 culture in a nod to the grim future that could befall us all. The Big Five who rule the world are Googlebyte, Wikitube, Amazaba, Facelife and Appletree. Winnie, the main protagonist, has had an affair with Julian Assange in her younger years, and now uses an iPhone 23. Michelle Obama has been the first female president of the US in 2020 but now models for Damien Hirst. Putin was crowned ceremonial Tsar of Russia. Simon Cowell was murdered by a former contestant live on China's Got Talent in 2017. An alternative history for the Beatles and the role in world peace is also offered. Yet for all the technological progress, today's social flaws, particularly the degradation of women, remain unchanged in 2023. KLF's re-entrance into the world on Wednesday night in their battered ice cream truck also almost exactly mirrors a passage of the book, which points to a note scrawled on a warehouse wall in Liverpool. I found myself in a dusty, sooty city. It was night and winter and dark and rainy. Then I saw an ice cream van pull around a corner and pull up beside a derelict building. While the book is not specifically about Courtier and Drummond, they crop up as self-referential characters, at one point referred to as men in the late 60s who meet up in a red brick 2-up, 2-down terraced house in Northampton, alongside comic book author Alan Moore. It is the first time they have been in the same room together since 1994. In the book, these 3 men withdrew £1 million in £50 notes and burned them in a bonfire in front of the Houses of Parliament. What follows is a passage which is the closest to an explanation for the publicity stunt that the KLF have ever offered. Everyone sees it for what it is: the vanities of successful rock stars with not enough money to burn. The 3 of them tried to save some sort of artistic grace by claiming they were misunderstood and they were going to call a 23-year moratorium on the collective creative activities. In the reckoning, these 23 years would give the hoi polloi, the art establishment and the international jet set enough time to assess the reasons why 3 ex-rock stars felt whim enough to burn a pile of money so big it could have saved 1 million starving Ethiopian babies from certain death. Bill Drummond and Jimmy Courtier arrive in Liverpool. Photograph Richard Martin Roberts. Getty Images. The return of the KLF was marked by a poster in the East End of London posing the question 2017 what the fuck is going on. Certainly it feels fitting that the pair, whose stunts far predated the absurdity of most internet culture, are making their comeback in the post-Rudd era, and at a time when Beyoncé and Jay-Z are supposedly leaders of the Illuminati. Few acts since have been able to rival their anarchic, anti-commercial and mostly ludicrous career in the late 1980s and 90s, and the book illustrates how they still have the power to poke vicious holes through popular culture. There was the shameless yet pioneering sampling of pop songs, which led to objections from ABBA for the unauthorized use of Dancing Queen. The pair traveled to Sweden to convince ABBA to endorse the record. ABBA refused, so they gave the gold disc to a Swedish sex worker and burned the rest of the records in the woods. There were their scepter-wielding performances on Top of the Pops, and their appearance at the 1992 Brit Awards with the band Extreme Noise Terror, where they fired blanks from machine guns into the crowd, then dumped a dead sheep on the red carpet, adorned with the message "I died for you." They subsequently buried their Brit Award at Stonehenge. And let's not forget their dramatic and, in the eyes of many, self-indulgent decision to burn £1 million of royalties in a final symbol of their disdain for the major labels' domination of the music industry. Along with the deletion of their entire back catalogue, it's an act that seems as hideous yet laudable today as it did back then. Ready for a dead sheep, the KLF spilled Drummond at the 1992 Brit Awards. Photograph Richard Young Ricks. The big question is why now? Well, for one, the authoritarian politics that spawned the KLF in the 1980s have once again reared their ugly head. But it also has a lot to do with the number 23, central to the Illuminati ideology that has long been at the core of everything the KLF has done. As the title suggests, 2023 is a monument to the number 23 and its supposed powers to govern and link up the world. So this book, and the 3 days of accompanying events the KLF have planned in Liverpool, kicking off today, comes right on cue, a sharp reminder that all the pomp and circumstance of the music industry, all the greed of consumer culture and the occult power of finance that the KLF flew in the face of 2 decades ago, has only continued to grow and mutate in their absence.